Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. A while ago I asked you guys if you wanted to see me sketching outside, and many of you voted on botanical garden. So I went there with my sketchbook, but unfortunately my allergy got kind of uncomfortable when I was there. I know that so many unexpected things can happen when sketching outside, so that was kind of a fail. But I still wanted to show you guys around. I'm gonna use this place as reference photo and paint it at home instead. I'm also gonna take this chance to answer some questions I got from you guys. I wanted to first thank you for being curious about me. I was a little bit nervous that nobody would ask anything, so I really appreciate all the questions. The first question, how old are you? I don't want to say the exact, but I'm between 31 to 34. How come you live in Gothenburg, Sweden, since you're not from here? So in short, I was born and raised in Beijing. I was also extremely incompatible with the Chinese education system, and I'm also not from a very wealthy family. Swedish universities used to be free for international students, so that's how I ended up here 15 years ago. I moved here to study finance, mostly because there were limited amount of courses that were taught in English, and I ended up dropping out because I wasn't really interested in the subject. Many of my classmates were able to get jobs without a degree because they could speak Swedish, so that's what I did as well. I started to work on my Swedish, and eventually I got a job in a bank. I was doing okay, but finance was just not really my thing, and I couldn't make myself care about what I was doing. So after I worked there for a few years, and when I had enough savings, I quit that job. The next question, maybe this is the same question again, but what do you do? Studies, what kind of, or working with what? So I used to work with import-export financing and anti-money laundering. In recent years, I've been working part-time. I worked in a food company doing things like printing out labels with the correct information and dates on them, and I also work in retirement homes to prepare like supplies for the nurses working there. So these are the jobs that I can kind of phase out while listening to podcasts about art history or something like that. The next question, do you have any education in art or art background? No, I did apply for fine art and illustration program in art school here, but I didn't get accepted. I think it was because I didn't have any portfolio pieces of artwork. I also had no artistic points from a high school degree. In hindsight, it might be a blessing in disguise though. I read about Feefal's art school experience and I might have felt the same way, so I'm not bitter about it. The next one is how and why did you start? It was 1 year into the pandemic. That's also when I finally got my Swedish citizenship. That's when I felt secure enough to start taking art seriously. I was also kind of bored because of the lack of activities I wanted to do in public places. So I wanted to have a project that is challenging and engaging enough for me to keep me occupied even when I'm home alone. I started by following digital art tutorials for beginners on YouTube, and then I switched between traditional and digital painting. Next one is, are you completely self-taught or did you go to art school or have art guidance? I consider myself in the process of self-teaching. I didn't go to art school, and for art guidance, I assume you mean to have some teacher that I can ask feedback or questions to. I do have some chances like that. I bought a urban sketching class in Chinese this year, and it is taught by the author of this book, which I like so much. Her class offers feedback if I upload my homework, but I haven't been doing that very much. I should be doing it more. Another resource that I consider as art guidance is Loish, her Patreon page. She's a really fantastic teacher, especially when it comes to mentalities about artistic growth. I think she's a teacher who taught me how to figure out what I want to achieve and how to plan the workflow and routine to get there. Even if she mostly teaches in digital art, but I learned a lot of fundamental things that I can apply to traditional painting. Right now, I'm not able to join her Patreon every month, but at the end of the month I can download the monthly tutorial that I paid for during that period. So I have collected a few tutorials that I can rewatch anytime. Another great thing about her Patreon is that she holds a Q&A session every month. 2 years ago, I asked her if she thought it was true that we need to learn how to draw realistically first, because I was kind of insecure about not having the foundation other artists would have learned throughout their childhood or in art school. And she said no. I don't remember the exact words, but it was something like, it's not about copying what you see like a human printer, but it's more about interpreting what you see and enhancing what you want to tell to your audience. And I think that boosted my confidence a lot, knowing that I'm not missing out on something majorly important. I'm not sponsored or anything to say that. I know I might sound like I'm trying to sell it, but no, that's just how I feel. The next question is, how much time a week would you say you spend on painting? When do you paint and how often? I think around 10 to 14 hours each week, and I usually take a break from painting when I edit my videos. For now, 2 to 3 hours a day is the maximum amount I can draw, because otherwise I might get pain in my elbow, so it forces me to improve on efficiency. I used to paint whenever I wanted to, but since I started this YouTube channel, I do have to be a bit more mindful about the daylight situation if I want to film the process. So my schedule is a bit random. Do you have any pets? Yes, this is Mr. Gremlinson. He is 12 years old. He's having a lot of health complications right now, so the time we have together is very precious. The next one is, do you have a favorite watercolor brand? No, I don't have a favorite yet. I usually don't work with just one brand, and I like to mix and match. And there are so many brands that I didn't try yet. I would like to try Core watercolor and Deep Light and Gallo, and probably some handmade watercolors too in the future. So no, I don't have a favorite right now. Do you have any art goals this year? I would say not really, because I know I tend to ignore my goals and just do what I feel like doing anyway. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I try to give myself the permission to do whatever I'm craving when it comes to art. I want to work with that momentum and not against it. I think at the beginning of the year I wanted to paint outside more, and I also wanted to post regularly on YouTube. I think I did okay. Next question is, do you have any bigger art related goals or dreams, like being able to live on your art or something? Yes, I would definitely like to have a sustainable career in art. For now, how that career looks like is still very blurry, but I would like to combine the art career with a somewhat self-sufficient lifestyle, like keeping chickens and vegetable garden. It would be ideal that if I'm able to support my family and live on that. And I also recently got monetized on YouTube, so I'm super grateful for everyone who watched my videos. So thank you guys very, very much. For the art career, I can think of maybe selling original paintings and art prints in the future. I'm also planning to learn oil painting next year, so maybe that can turn into something. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now, I'm just happy to be able to post regularly on YouTube, because there's still so much to learn. Which are your favorite art YouTubers? Next question, how long have you been painting for? I started 2021 February, so here are some paintings from that time. Next question is, have you always had an interest in art? No, I did not. I guess throughout my childhood, the piano was the hobby that was decided for me, so I didn't have the option back then. And in high school, I liked to use the colorful chalk to draw and write things on the inside of my closet. There was a wood panel there, and I also did some sketches in my recipe book. These were done back when I was still in college. The most art-related thing I did was buying that first iPad and Apple Pencil. It was back when I was still working full-time and I had more disposable income, although I didn't use it very much for the first 3-4 years. Maybe just some coloring book pages during long flights, but nothing more than that. I was mostly working on getting a permanent place to stay and getting my visa. I had a lot to worry about, so I didn't have the headspace to start learning. When you ordered from Art Toolkit, did you have to pay any customs or extra fees for them to send it to Sweden? No, I ordered it from a Swedish website. I remember the shipping fee was quite reasonable. The next question, if you could only choose 3 colors to paint with, which ones would they be? I would say right now I would choose Deep Scarlet from Daniel Smith, Ultramarine. Of course I have to choose Ultramarine Finest. For the yellow, I think I would choose Schminke's Chromium Yellow Light Hue. Do you take art classes? It's so hard, especially without a creative community, to move forward and progress. I'm not taking any classes right now, but I did go to a live drawing session in a local studio. There's no instructors there, we just sat around the model and draw together. I sometimes take art classes on Skillshare and Domestika, but now I also like to switch between Patreon content and art books. I tend to phase out and lose focus sometimes when I consume one type of resource for too long, and I think I feel more passive when I'm listening to a class compared to studying from an art book. I think we all have different ways and preferences when it comes to learning new things. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. I think most of the online platforms have some sort of algorithm that is not very kind to artists, and it makes it so hard to connect with people. I think I might want to shift to doing more offline activities, like maybe join the urban sketching groups. I think it could be more rewarding if I'm being present with all the other creative people. But I also understand that this is not an option for all the artists out there, so it's really difficult, and I'm sorry I don't have a good answer or solution to that. But if anybody have any suggestion, please put them in the comment below. It would be great if we can help each other out. Next question, can you tell us about your inspiration? So Impressionism and alla prima style of painting are very big inspiration for me. I really love Frans Hals and Cecilia Bow, Bert Morisot and Helen McNichol. These are my favorite painters from the past, and I also find inspirations in nature and seasonal changes. I love looking at the sky, and I also love the combination of nature and infrastructure. Like in this painting from Bert Morisot, she painted these faraway buildings and factories with black smoke coming out of them. I'm super impressed that she captured a moment of her time in a truthful but also expressive way, and that's something I'm striving to achieve in my own work. Do you keep all your sketches and paintings? And if so, do you keep them in a sketchbook or loose? Also your favorite art supply? So this is how I keep them. It's kind of random, and I'm looking for a better way to store them. Some of the swatch papers that I didn't put a lot of effort into, I think I'm just gonna throw them away because I'm running out of space. And for the sketchbooks, I think I'm going to get a airtight plastic box and move them in there. And for my favorite art supply, I made a video last year about them. I still like to use these art supplies, and I have a new favorite drawing tool. It's this carpenter pencil. I think it's made for making marks across a piece of wood or something. The graphite comes in yellow, red and black. I really like this red one, and because of the tip part is so long, I can sketch in a very loose way, so I really recommend to give it a try. The next question, can I ask what sketchbooks do you usually use, or any sketchbooks you recommend? I make my own sketchbooks with this Canson 1557 paper. It takes ink and pencil and crayon pretty well, and even for watercolor and gouache, so I think it's great for the price. And I also recommend the Royal Talon sketchbook. They're very affordable and the quality is great. The next one is, what medium do you feel you are best with? Right now I would say I'm most comfortable with watercolor. I love how quickly I can finish a painting with it. So yeah, I think right now I would say watercolor. What is your favorite color when it comes to daily life? I think this baby blue or dusty blue is my favorite color. I have many items and garments in this color, and I don't mind having more. The next one, how do you navigate creating and working if you have another job? I love your art. Thank you so much. So on the days I'm working, I just do smaller, easier tasks that don't involve a lot of decision making, like finding reference photos, moving them to Procreate, and trace the line work. If I have more energy, I will do a speed paint for half an hour or so. If I have a bad day and feeling very exhausted, I would treat myself by buying some art supplies or a domestika class and watch it in bed, or even in the bathtub with some wine and ice cream, depends on how bad the day was. The last thing is not a question, but I still wanted to respond to that. Context Curated said, your talent is obvious, but also your progress. So first of all, thank you very, very much. And I also want to say it is because I haven't been working full time, and also knowing another language gives me the access to a whole different database. That's why I was able to progress. And I'm also very grateful that the library system in the city I live in, it's fantastic. Many art books I use frequently are actually purchased by the library. It wouldn't be possible for me to afford them. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm more talented than they are, because I don't think that's true. We all have different life situations, and you probably have some advantages that I don't have. So just keep on painting and have fun. I think that's all the questions for today. Again, thank you guys so much for watching my videos and asking these wonderful questions. I'm so happy to share my art journey with you. I'm terribly sorry if I somehow missed your question. I will try to answer them in the future video or maybe in the comments. So if you have more questions, you can drop them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and give it a like if you did. I have something exciting planned for the next video, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.